Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll be telling you everything that's being added in the sonic.exe outcome memories version 0.2 update. If you don't already know, sonic.exe outcome memories is a Roblox game where you either play as a survivor or the executioners, or just EXEs for short. The survivor's goal is to survive the EXEs and jump into the green goal ring to escape the EXE. The EXE's goal is to kill all the survivors before they escape. The long anticipated version 0.2 update is releasing soon. I'd guess sometime around the middle to end of October or the start of November. So I decided to make a video telling you everything to expect from this update. And also, all the information that's stated in this video comes from the unofficial Outcome Memories wiki. So if you want to go read about it, go on ahead. So without further ado, let's get started on all the things coming to Outcome Memories version 0.2. Let's firstly go over to the survivors that they're going to be adding into this update. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the two new survivors coming to the game. The first of the two survivors is Silver the Hedgehog. If you somehow don't know who Silver is, he's a psychic hedgehog from a destroyed future whose main goal is to save his future. Now that you know who he is, let me tell you about his passives. Well, his one passive, he only has one, which is called the energy meter. Similar to Sonic's dodge meter, it's a teal meter that will appear under Silver's health bar. Whenever Silver uses his abilities, he will drain the meter. As of right now, it's currently unknown what happens when the meter drains fully, but it most likely will just stop Silver from using his abilities. The meter fills up over time, so you don't have to do anything to fill it up, but it fills up quite slowly. Now let's move on to his abilities. Silver's first ability is levitation. It allows Silver to hover in the air for an unknown period of time as of right now. We don't know if this is actually a passive or an ability, so I just put it here because it would be a bit OP for a passive. Please feel free to correct me about this in the comments. His next ability is called suspension. When Silver uses this ability, he will shoot a quick moving telekinetic shockwave towards where he's looking. If the shockwave hits the EXE, Silver will grab them and hold them in place using his telekinetic powers. While Silver is holding the EXE, he can throw them away, but if any survivors stun the killer, he will break free from Silver's grab. You could also use this to hold the killer in place to help the other survivors stunning the killer, but you most likely would want to throw him away to help everybody. Now on to his next ability. Silver's next ability as of now is called Rock, which is a placeholder name. This ability makes Silver stop in place and uses telekinetic powers to form 3 large rocks from the ground, which he can throw at the EXE. If the EXE is hit by the rocks, he will be slowed down and their vision will be obscured for a short period of time. Silver's last ability as of now is called Time Thing, which is another placeholder name. When this ability is activated, Silver will have a blue outline around him and save his location of where he was when he activated this ability. After his position is saved, his energy meter will slowly drain over time. If Silver activates this ability again during this period, he will instantly teleport back to the safe location, and this ability will enter cooldown. If Silver is hit by an EXE before he's teleported back, the ability will automatically get cancelled. Now on to the second survivor. The second survivor is Blaze the Cat. If you also somehow don't know who Blaze is, she is the princess of an alternate dimension, the Sonic's dimension, called the Soul Dimension. And she is the protector of the Soul Emeralds, which are this dimension's version of the Chaos Emeralds. She can use these to turn into Burning Blaze, which is a form similar to Supersonic. She has pyrokinetic powers, which are basically just fire powers, and she can keep up with Sonic's speed. Now that you know who she is, let me tell you about her only passive. Blaze's only passive is called the Soul Meter. But what I find weird is, why does a lot of them though, have a meter under their health bar? First of all, you have Sonic with his dodge meter. Tails, I don't know if you'd count this as a meter, but it has the meter for his laser cannon when it charges up. Silver has his energy meter, and now there's another survivor with a meter. How many survivors have to have a meter? Anyways, I'm getting off track. Blaze's soul meter, with Blaze's gimmick of adding a burn status onto the EXEs, If the meter is empty, moves like roundhouse kick, which I'll talk about later, will not apply the burn status, and her other moves like soul flame, which will have a different function, which I will also talk about when I go over that ability later. The meter will be replenished when Blaze hits her stuns and will gain 30% back, but if Blaze misses her stuns, the meter will drain somewhere between 20% to 100% of the meter depending on the duration of the ability and which ability was used. Now let's talk about her abilities. Blaze's first ability is called Roundhouse Kick / Soul Boost. Roundhouse Kick allows Blaze to launch herself in the direction of the camera. When she hits the EXE with this move, Blaze will stun him and knock him back, and if her soul meter's filled up, it can add the burn effect. The burn lasts a couple of seconds and slows down the EXE during its duration, but it will ragdoll her if she misses for about a second. The ability uses around 20% of the soul meter and gives you 30% if you hit the stun. If it misses, she will ragdoll for about a second, as I said earlier. If she uses it mid-air, it switches to soul boost, which makes her charge up for the ability for about half a second while standing in place. She dashes forward in the direction of the camera. It drains the soul meter over time while she's using it though. If she bumps into the EXE, it's stunned and she gets 30% of her soul meter back. It won't stop draining until the move is over. Her last ability is called Soul Flame / Burning Javelin. When you use Soul Flame, Blaze will quickly charge up a large flame before blasting fire in the direction she's facing in rapid succession. The move quickly pushes the EXE away, which with each flame that hits him and implies the burning effect. This ability drains the soul meter for the duration of the ability. If she's below 35% of her soul meter, the ability switches into a new move called Burning Javelin, where Blaze will take out a fire spear and throw it in the direction of the camera, and it applies the burn status onto the EXE, but it only pushes them away instead of stunning them. Now that's everything you need to know about the new survivors. Now let's move on to the more interesting topic of the EXEs. In version 0.2, they will be adding 3 new EXEs. The first one of the 3 is called Colossus. If you don't know who Colossus is, I wouldn't blame you because he was only appeared in one game. He's the EXE from the game sonic.exe The Disaster, which unfortunately got taken around the 4th of May, I think it was, of this year. He has a sword for a right arm and can grab people with it. The lore of how Colossus is in Outcome Memories is that he grabbed 2 survivors, probably Blaze and Silver, and he was teleported to Outcome Memories with those survivors. Now that's all that I can tell you about Colossus and his lore. Let's get on to his passives. His first passive is called Climb, where he can climb walls to reach higher ground, which you probably know what climb is, so I'm not really going to explain it any further. Now on to his next passive. His next passive is called Demonization, which I think it's pronounced, which is a unique passive that affects survivors when Colossus is the EXE. So it basically works like have you ever played the game Dimensional Coalescence? I think that's how you pronounce it. Why is it so hard to pronounce? Whenever you kill a survivor as the EXE, they turn into their minion and can do stuff. That's basically how it works here, where Colossus can revive all the dead survivors as his minions and make them attack the remaining survivors. We don't know if the remaining survivors will have control of this or not, but most likely, if they don't want to, a computer player will take over for them. Now on the Colossus' abilities. His first ability is, just your standard attack that every EXE has. It does 55 damage, which can 2-shot a survivor, which is really OP, but to balance it out, Colossus is one of the slowest EXEs in the game, I think. Don't correct me on that. But so that makes it more fair for his high damage. Now on to his next actual ability. His second ability is called Charge. When it's activated, Colossus will charge up for about 1 second before he charges in the direction of the camera. If Colossus runs into a survivor, he impales them with his sword-looking right arm and carries them as he picks up more survivors. If he doesn't pick up any survivors in 3 to 4 seconds, the move gets cancelled and he'll lose the ability to turn in any direction for 2.5 seconds. His next ability is called Grab, where he grabs a survivor and proceeds to punch them and move around with them. Each punch does 12 damage. His next ability is called Indicator, where he can see where the other survivors are for around 7 seconds, which can be pretty OP, and it doesn't have any drawbacks. Colossus's last ability is called Block, which is really OP, where he stands still for 3 to 4 seconds, similar to Knuckles, and if he gets stunned, he will attack the survivor who stunned him with no way to dodge his attack, unless you're Sonic with like the dodge meter. Now that's everything for Colossus. Now on to the next EXE. The next EXE, and my favourite EXE, is called Tails Doll or Tripwire. If you don't know Tripwire is a possessed doll who looks like Tails. That is basically who he is. Sorry if it's a short description, there's not really much to say, because not much about him has been revealed. Now let's move on to his abilities. His first ability is your standard attack like all the other EXEs. He does about 36 damage. His second ability is called Reach Out. When you activate it, Tripwire will let out ropes to the nearest survivor, but we don't know what they do. They might attack them, they might grab them, we don't really know. And his last ability that we know of is called Red Diamond. Nobody knows what this one does, but a dev may have hinted that it's a flight ability, similar to his moves in the Disaster. Now on to the last EXE. The last of the 3 new EXEs is Fleetway Supersonic, or just Fleetway for short. Fleetway originates from the Fleetway Sonic comics, and he's an out-of-control supersonic. Now that you basically know who he is, let me tell you about his passives. His first passive is called Flight, where Fleetway can basically just fly. That's it. His second passive is called Health. Fleetway is one of the only survivors with a health bar. He has about 355 health, which depletes whenever he gets stunned. And when it gets to 0, he gets pulled through a portal, ending the match early. Now that I've went over his passives, let me tell you about his abilities. His first ability is your basic attack, like the other 2 EXEs. It does 35 damage. That's basically it, just like the other 2. His second ability is called Laser of Destruction, pretty sick name to be honest, where Fleetway shoots a laser out of his eyes, doing around 20 to 25 damage per second. It also gives you the burning status effect for around 4 seconds. His third ability is called Chaos Dash, where Fleetway highlights every survivor and begins to spin dash regardless if he's flying or not. When he uses the spin dash, his speed will increase, and when he hits a survivor, it does 25 damage. He can attack with the spin dash 3 or 4 times before the move runs out. His next ability is called Fateful Drain, where Fleetway lunges a long distance in the direction of the camera. If he misses, he can try 2 more times before it goes on cooldown. But if he does grab a survivor, he will drain 40 of their HP and heal 16 of his own HP. His last ability is called Burst, where Fleetway freezes in place while floating and begin to charge up an energy ball. After he charges it up, he will release a massive explosion, dealing a moderate amount of damage to anybody nearby. It also highlights all the survivors. He can use the ability while he's stunned, but its cooldown will be longer. Now that's everything for Fleetway. On to the new maps. Apologies in advance because this section will be quite short because there's not much to say. But the first of the 2 new maps is Hide and Seek Act 2, which takes place in a cave. You might recognise this name from the game Sonic.exe Spirits of Hell, which is an old Sonic EXE game with multiple endings and one of my old favourites. Who knows, I might play it on the channel sometime. The second the second map, is called Majin Forest, which is basically a forest on fire, kind of like Hide and Seek Act 1, but it's primarily based on the character Majin Sonic from a hidden screen in the game Sonic CD. I would have ended the video off there, but the thing is, there's a few things I forgot to mention in the script here, so I'm going to go off script for a bit. Some survivors are getting changes, and 2011X is too. First of all, 2011X is getting a complete rework, I think. well, I don't know if it's a complete rework, but I know that his God's Trickery is going to change. So, yeah, 2011X is getting a rework, and his invincibility frames will be less broken. Some survivors will be getting buffs too. Like, I don't know if this one's true or not. Don't, like, quote me on this. But I think Blaze will be able to, with her round thing kick, whatever it's called, I can't remember. She can charge up Knuckles' punch to light it on fire like he does when it's fully charged up a lot faster. But this one I'm definitely sure about. Tails will be my main. Thank God, Tails is getting a big buff where he'll be able to carry around other survivors when he uses his flight move. But I think it will drain faster. I'm just glad Tails is getting the buff because he's targeted a lot and he really needs one. So yeah, that's basically just it about what they're changing about the survivors. Also, I didn't mention any emotes or new cosmetics in this video, or this video would be like 12 hours long. And I would have to do a crap ton of editing, and this video will not be ready until 0.2 would be already out. So, yeah. Now back to the script. Now that's everything being added to sonic.exe Outcome Memories version 0.2. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more epic content like this, and feel free to share any cool video ideas I can do in the comments. Right, okay, see you guys next time, bye!